All right, so first things first, let's talk about what the Alaska legislature is. Any ideas? This is also in your books if you want to jump ahead.
A bunch of people that get together and decide on what laws we're going to have and how to change the laws.
Okay, love that.
Voted to do that.
Okay, so they were voted to do that. Elective represent. See, now we're cooking with grease, baby. Absolutely. So a legislature is a deliberative assembly with the legal authority to make laws for a political entity such as a country, nation, or city on behalf of the people therein. So all of you are spot on. This is the group of people that make the laws for everybody in Alaska. If it goes from being a bill into a law, it is now something that we all have to abide by. And if we don't, there are measures in place to either ensure that we comply or that we are punished for not complying. 3 branches of the government, what are they?
Legislative, executive, judicial.
You know how many people don't know that? It's lots. And so you said judicial, executive, and legislative. Thank you so much. If you did not know that, if you struggle to say that off the top of your dome, no judgment. Again, think about how much time you spent on this in school, and think about how much time you spend worrying about your bills right now. Think about how much time you spend worried about your neighbors. Think about how much time you spend worrying about your prescriptions, and will they be able to be filled next month? If you don't know those things, we are not judging you. We are absolutely not judging you. There is no shame in that. If you don't know those things, the system is working as it was designed to work. Amen. So, legislative branch is responsible for enacting the state laws, right? And we have a bicameral, I think I'm pronouncing that right, legislature that has the House of Representatives and and the Senate. Alaska legislature membership, you've got 20 state senators, you've got 40 representatives. So you got a total of 60 folks. If you do not know who your representatives are, that's okay, because we created a handy dandy QR code for you so that you can find your district right there. Hold on a second. Check that out. It's got a laser. My cats love it. It's also in your books. Again, we wanted to give you these books as a guide to kind of help you keep track with what we're talking about and take notes in, but also to provide you with resources. So again, these are yours for keepsies. If you do not know who your representatives are, that's okay, because now you have the opportunity to do so. And I know the numbers and the letters are kind of confusing, so we broke it down. The number corresponds to the state House district, and the letter corresponds to the state Senate district. 2 House districts make up a Senate district. I don't know about you, but I did not learn this at school. All joking aside, I love Bartlett, but we didn't talk about this. This was not something that my government teacher talked about.
In the 60s, we talked about it.
That was not when I went to school. I love it.
Yes, and in junior high.
I was going to say government was required when I graduated, and I graduated in 1986, but we didn't talk about the state legislature. We only talked about the federal government.
We talked about Martin Luther King. Like he was the only civil rights person to ever exist.
I love Martin.
We all love Martin. This is Fairbanks, and this is Anchorage. There's also one for Kenai, Matsu Valley, and Southeast Anchorage, but we didn't want to just inundate you with like slides of districts that you might not know about. So
Are those just Senate districts?
yeah, these are the those are both. So you've got your House of Representatives and the Senate. So the letter is the Senate, and the House is the number. Does that make sense? Yes, ma'am.
Who is on the Alaska Redistricting Board? Is it
Say that. I'm so sorry, I can't hear you.
who is on the Alaska Redistricting Board? Is it a like non?
Is it a nonpartisan board?
Yeah, nonpartisan.
I actually don't know that, to be perfectly honest with you.
It's supposed to be, but oftentimes the people who are on it have their own agenda.
So how is it selected?
That I don't know.
Okay. Anybody know? Because this really is a conversation.
I have to Google it.
Who wants to Google it? Somebody Google
10
it.
points for Gryffindor. Look at you go.
Let's keep moving, but that's an interesting question.
And I appreciate that.
Yes.
So I know that there was some conversation about how does a bill become a law. We did a civics academy not too long ago where we actually had the I'm just a bill on Capitol Hill. And it's very similar. So it is a 9-step process. Well, it can be up to 9 steps. That's if there are amendments and you have to send it back and then forth and then back and forth. What we're going to talk about today is the very, very high-level bird's eye view. So this is the 9-step. You introduce a bill, goes to committee hearings, there's floor action, maybe some more committee hearings, maybe it goes back to the floor, then it goes back to the original House, then it goes to the governor, and then most bills, if they pass, they are signed into law and they go into effect the following January 1st. In late 2025, we will be having another Civics Academy. It'll be a 201 where we really break this down. If you are interested in how Anchorage politics works, or you're interested in learning more about the Assembly, we did an Alaska Civics Academy on it on January 16th of this year. It was recorded, and we have uploaded all of those videos to YouTube on our Alaska Civics Academy channel, and we strongly encourage that you check it out. This is being recorded and will also be uploaded to the Alaska Civics Academy YouTube page. And it'll be spliced up, and the videos will come out like 1 or 2 a week, and then the whole entire series will be posted. Yes, sir. Yes, please, found the answer.
So it says, the redistricting board shall be appointed in the year, which if something, the governor shall appoint 2 members of the board, the presiding officer of the Senate, the presiding officer of the House of Representatives, and the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court shall each appoint 1 member of the board. So the governor gets 2.
Oh, sorry.
The governor gets 2. The presiding officer of the Senate, the presiding officer of the House of Representatives, and the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court each appoint 1 member.
So that could become political very quickly, couldn't it?
Real quick.
That's
And
interesting.
if you notice on the side, we have some cats playing chess with a puppy dog, because even though it's not my favorite way to think about it, but when explaining it to people who are not as familiar with it, it makes sense to say it's kind of like a game. It's very much like a game, the political theater or the games that people play in politics. And one of the ways that we talk about the majority versus minority is splitting it up into teams. Hi, welcome. Have a seat wherever you'd like. So when you are looking at how politics function in this state and in most places, you typically have 2 parties, sometimes 3, sometimes 4, but typically there are 2 parties. One is the majority, one is the minority. And if you think about it as a team, both teams have captains, but the majority typically sets the conversation, so what's going to be talked about, when it's going to be talked about, how often you're going to talk about it. That majority also creates committees, and the committees are the ones who discuss both partisan and bipartisan issues and kind of push things forward and investigate things, topics. What I really want you to understand with this is just because the majority is bigger than the minority, it does not mean that the minority is powerless, not by any means. Because if the minority is doing what they're supposed to be doing, their job is to introduce ideas and thoughts and different ways of thinking about the issues that the majority is considering actioning on, right? So if you have a solid minority and you have convincing folks in your minority, you can absolutely change the majority's mind, or at least get them to think differently about concepts or ideals or laws that are going to be passed, how this might affect somebody differently than it would that's a part of the majority. Does that make sense? So please don't think that just because you are a member of the minority, in any case, that you don't have sway, that you don't have power. The perfect example of that is the civil rights movement. Right. As a perfect example of that, where the minority moved the needle for the majority.